After every ceasefire comes the obvious question: will it stick? First, let's look at the ground situation. This morning, a fireball erupted in Gaza, followed by plumes of smoke. It happened less than an hour after the truce started. Now, it's not clear what triggered it. As things stand, Israel is not being blamed. And that sums up the expectations from the ceasefire. Everyone is hoping it sticks, but only time will tell the truth. For now, let's focus on the next stages. Trump's peace plan details 20 different points. After yesterday's breakthrough, point number 5 is of utmost importance. Let me quote it for you. Once all the hostages are released, Israel will release 250 life sentence prisoners, plus 1,700 Gazans who were detained after the 7th of October 2023. For every Israeli hostage whose remains are released, Israel will release the remains of 15 deceased Gazans. So that's the next step. Hamas will free all of the hostages. After that, Israel will free hundreds of Gazan prisoners. Once this is completed, Israel will withdraw partially. We showed you the map already. They will move from this blue line to the yellow line. Then comes the tricky part. Trump's plan requires Hamas to surrender and to give up their weapons. They must also transfer power to a new body, a body of Palestinian experts. Hamas has agreed to the second demand, but not to the first one. They are keen to retain their weapons. Once Hamas cedes power, Trump's plan gathers pace. Politically, Gaza will be controlled by the new body of experts. Militarily, it will be controlled by a new peacekeeping force. It's called the ISF, or the International Stabilization Force. Arab countries are expected to form the bulk of this. Once the ISF establishes control over Gaza, Israel will begin to withdraw. Again, let me pull up the map. The IDF will move from the yellow line to the red line, and later from the red line to a buffer zone. Now, this raises two questions. 1, how long will all of this take? And 2, will Israel retain a piece of Gaza? The answer to the first question is missing from the plan. It does not give a timeline for Israeli withdrawal. Here's what it says. The IDF will withdraw based on standards, milestones, and timeframes linked to demilitarization that will be agreed upon between the IDF, ISF, the guarantors, and the United States. Now that's pretty vague. It says Israeli forces will remain until Gaza does not pose a threat. Will that be weeks, months, or years? Secondly, will Israel retain a piece of Gaza? Now, Trump's plan explicitly says Israel will not annex or occupy Gaza. Yet the buffer zone is problematic. It accounts for almost 15% of Gaza. And once again, there is no timeline for withdrawal. The deal says the zone will remain with Israel until Gaza is secure. But frankly, all of this is secondary, because these steps are incumbent on Hamas disarming, on Hamas agreeing to cede power. And there is no guarantee that the group will do that. Just think about it. Hamas's biggest bargaining chip are the hostages, but all the hostages will be freed in the first stage itself, meaning that Hamas will have no leverage in the following stages. If they disarm, they will be even more vulnerable. So the question is, will they do it? Trump's plan does try to address this issue. Let me quote again. Once all hostages are returned, Hamas members who commit to peaceful coexistence and to decommission their weapons will be given amnesty. Members of Hamas who wish to leave Gaza will be provided safe passage to receiving countries. So Trump is promising to protect them, but only if they surrender and give up their weapons. So basically, it's a question of trust. Does Hamas trust the US president enough to agree to his terms? We saw flickers of that fear in their statement yesterday. Hamas asked Trump, and the Arab countries to keep Israel in check, to ensure they implement the deal completely. It tells you how complicated this process will be. Yes, the first stage has been agreed to, but things will only get tougher from here. Like any deal, this requires trust. But after the horrors of October 7th and the war that followed, trust has almost disappeared.
Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point.
Well, we've got all three just for you. This is Firstpost Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.